This is the first of 2 rounds of Delaware Standardbred Breeders' Fund Finals for 2-year-olds, each with a purse of $100,000. First, let's see our first state-bred trotting fillies in action as She Is Strong took home the winner's share.
3/4, 130 and 2/5. They make their way around the final turn. She Is Strong and Mr. Berg. Back to the rail went Little Miss Won't Be Wrong, and they're at the top of the stretch, turning home. She Is Strong comes off the turn on top. She Is Strong, Mr. Berg, Little Miss Won't Be Wrong. Gold Rate gaining on the outside. They come toward the wire, pulling away. She Is Strong. She Is Strong wins by 5 lanes. She Is Strong, Mr. Berg, and Gold Rate up for third over Little Miss Won't Be Wrong fourth in 2 minutes.
She Is Strong remained undefeated with a record of 3 wins out of 3 starts in her young career. The daughter of Anders Bluestone is owned by Jeffrey Clark, who is also the co-breeder along with Vernon Cannon. She Is Strong went from wire to wire, winning by 4 lengths in 2 minutes, with trainer-driver Art Stafford Jr., who joined assistant general manager Matt Sparacino in the winner's circle.
She Is Strong, good-looking filly out of your barn, 3 for 3. Tell us about her.
She's done everything right training down, and she's pretty much a natural and does everything right.
You've had a lot of good young horses over the years, particularly on the trotting end. You know, where does she rank as far as some of your favorites over the years?
She ranks up there pretty good, probably top 10, because she's a natural, does everything right.
Tell us about your confidence level going into tonight. Obviously, on paper, she looked much the best, 1-9, a lot of confidence from the betting public in there. But I know sometimes the rail is not the best place for a young trotter. Were you at all concerned about that?
Yeah, I was pretty concerned about the rail, not having an angle to get into the turn, but she overcome it pretty good.
With the stakes on the horizon for her at Dover, how do you think she'll respond on the bigger track?
I look for her to step up a little bit. She's had enough with the half mile. She trains on a half-mile track, and she needs to get on a bigger track to open her accelerator up a little bit.
Art Stafford Jr., 2 wins and 2 nights in the DSBF final events. Congratulations. Best of luck the rest of the card.
Thank you, Matt.
Now on to some pacing action as Misty Coast continue to dominate in DSBF action for 2-year-old pacing ladies.
Misty Coast goes by 3/4 in 126 and 4/5. They race on the final turn. It's Misty Coast on the outside now. Direct Miss takes over second. Easy Cure back to third. Then comes Chatty Kathleen and Red Marvelous. They're at the top of the stretch now, turning home. Misty Coast leads by a length and a half coming off the turn. Direct Miss giving chase in second. They straighten away. Misty Coast is on top. Direct Miss races on the outside. They come toward the wire. Misty Coast is in front. Then it's going to be Direct Miss and tight for third.
Misty Coast, owned and bred by Stephen Messick, swept this round of DSBF competition, capped off with a 155-3 win in the final. The filly, who's sired by Powerful Mist, is conditioned by Les Givens. And in the winner's circle, once again, is driver Art Stafford Jr.
Misty Coast, a Powerful Mist filly, a good-looking one at that, has won 5 of 7 lifetime. Art, you've been aboard this filly the last 5 times. Tell us about her.
She's a pretty natural filly. She pretty much does everything right, and I want to thank the Connections for letting me drive her.
Going into the race, obviously she was very impressive in both eliminations, and then when you saw the draw with the rail tonight, were you pretty confident going in? Obviously the bettors, she was very popular at 1-9.
I was pretty confident, but the rail isn't the best spot for her because she can get a little grabby, and it takes a little bit to settle her down and get her on stride.
When you're driving for a guy like Les Givens, who's had a lot of success over the years with young horses, not only the Pacers, but also a lot of trotters, particularly in the DSBF program, does that help you, particularly when you're driving a 2-year-old like this?
Yes. Trainer that knows their 2-year-olds and has them rigged correctly and ready to go always is a plus.
Art, congratulations. Winning driver aboard Misty Coast in our second DSBF final of the week.
Next up, let's see our freshman trotting colts with Perfect 20 picking up the big win in his Delaware bred division.
They make their way by 3/4, 129 into the far turn. Kodak Black, here's Perfect 20 up on the outside. They come midway on the final turn. Kodak Black, Perfect 20. Down inside, back to third. He spooks, she scores. And they're at the top of the stretch now, turning Rome. Kodak Black. Perfect 20 is on the outside. Made up a lot of ground to be right there. They straighten away. Kodak Black. Perfect 20. He spooks, she scores to the inside. They come toward the wire. Kodak Black is in front. Kodak Black. Perfect 20 coming in. Kodak Black is off stride. Kodak Black will be the winner on the board, but it'll be inquired with on the outside. Perfect 20 toward the rail. He spooks, she scores in 1:58.2.
Perfect 20 came from the back of the pack, and although he was second, the freshman trotter was placed first with the disqualification of Kodak Black going off stride at the wire. Perfect 20 was bred by Jason Lyde and owned by Robert Allison Jr. The son of Yankee royalty is trained by Cliff Green and driven by Vic Kirby.
I am joined by Victor Kirby, and the Cliff Green trainee, Perfect 20, gets it done here. Victor, this horse was so impressive in his eliminations. Obviously, post 7, not the most desirable post. What were your feelings going into this race?
I wanted to get away a lot better and get a decent spot, if not be on the front, but there was just too much heat underneath of me that I was forced in to just take him back, and I wasn't real happy at the half, but they were going on pretty good, so I knew I'd have an honest chance at least.
You had some attrition up there up front. There were some horses breaking. You were able to close the gap there pretty good. Top of the stretch, the 5 obviously still looked pretty strong there. Did you not think you were going to get there?
At the top of the stretch, no. I said, well, I got to settle for second. Halfway down the lane, I saw Montrell's horse kind of start shortening up, and I actually hollered to him in a joking manner, but I don't feel good that it happened to him. I said, you better hold on to him, and to my benefit, he made a break. But once again, you don't wish ill will on any of your competitors, even though it still benefited us.
Now, this is a Yankee royalty who's been so impressive thus far. He hasn't shown a lot of interest early in the mile. Do you think he needs to be more versatile going forward in terms of the rest of his career? Or do you think that's something maybe he's just going to be the horse that likes to come from behind?
No, I think that's been by design. Tim Tetrick did a great job educating him, and I got to thank Tim for not coming here and me picking up the drive. But I think at Dover, you'll be able to do whatever you want with him. He's very handy, super gated, and very willing.
Perfect 20, the winner of our Colt and Gelding final tonight, one of the better colts we've seen here.
Finally, we'll check out the Delaware Standardbred Breeders' Fund Final Division 4 pacing colts, and it was Gaitway Guy crossing the wire first in his final.
They went by 3/4, 127 and 2/5. They're on the final turn. Getting clear is Gaitway Guy, moves away by 2 lengths. Holding second, Night Terror on the outside. Cars are flying. Waiting for racing room is Delight in His Glory. They come toward the top of the stretch now, and Gaitway Guy comes off the turn, leading by 2.5 lengths. Gateway Guy holding second, Night Terror down the inside. Delight in His Glory. They come through the stretch, and it's Gateway Guy with a big lead and pulls away with every stride. Gateway Guy, much the best.
Gateway Guy continued to dominate his DSBF division, owned and bred by Gateway Stable. The freshman son of Del Marvelous won by 5 lengths in 156 for trainer Jeff Smith, with Corey Callahan at the controls for this $100,000 final.
I am joined by a winning driver aboard Gateway Guy, the 2-year-old son of Del Marvelous. Corey, tell us about this horse. He came in with just 1 start at Freehold. Did you know much about him going in? Obviously, the Freehold line looked pretty impressive.
Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about him. He told me he struggled in the turns a little bit, so we just kind of took him back there the first week, and I just kept moving him wider, and he circled him. He won a big mile that day. The last 2 weeks he's been first up. It's nice. He's not real handy early, but he's got big lungs, and I knew if I could just get him in a spot where I could let him pace, he'd mow him down.
After that first week, how impressed were you with him? Obviously, he looks like the kind of horse that once you start him up, as you said, he's got a big motor.
Yeah, I was really impressed with him. He when I moved him, he just went right by everybody. So, like I said, he's got a big motor, a little bumpy at times, but luckily I can just kind of hold on to him, and he's got enough where the rest of them can't catch him.
Obviously, he was commanding favorite on the tote board. You hadn't raced against Night Terror previously. Were you pretty confident going in, even though you hadn't previously raced against a horse that had won both of his eliminations?
Yeah, I've watched Night Terror race a bunch, since starting there at Ocean Downs in that Future Hope series. And, he's definitely a nice colt. He's kind of done everything right. But, I was pretty confident in my horse with, as long as I could get close to him, I would beat him.
Well, Corey Callahan and trainer Jeff Smith, congratulations with the Gaitway Guy, who is a brother to Gaitway Gal, who had a lot of success on the DSBF circuit as well.
A big overall congratulations goes out to our freshman Delaware Standardbred Breeders' Fun Final winners.